Before I get started, if you guys like our content, please leave a like and monster mash that subscribe button to be updated and notified on all Monster Planet content. Anyway guys, let's get right into the video. Hello my fellow ghouls and ghoulettes, and welcome to Monster Planet, where I talk about a monster's brief history, how it affected our modern world today, and how media portrays the monster. I'm your host Marlon Gonzalez, and today's monster is going to dwarf the other monsters from these past episodes. So, let's get started. Today's monster is one of the more mischievous ones we've covered so far, but more specifically, I'm talking about the Southeast Asian monster that is the Dwende. The Dwende originated from the Philippines, and for their origins, it's kind of unclear from where specifically in the Philippines they originated, but they didn't go unnoticed. For physical appearances, author Materio C. Cruz and scholar Dr. Maximo Ramos describe these creatures in slight differences, with Ramos describing them with having large features such as their nose, eyes, mouths, hands, and feet, whereas Cruz described them as short humanoids with one eye in the middle of the forehead and a large nose with a single nostril. But nonetheless, the usual description of them is often with an old man face, with a body the size of a child, and long bony fingers with brownish rough skin, sharp-looking eyes and mouth, whilst wearing a salakot, which is farmer apparel in the Philippines. The Dwende share similar characteristics to the dwarves. You guys are familiar with the original kinds of dwarves that you guys are familiar with. They have countless golds and gems that they keep for themselves, and they equate themselves underground, but in this case, anthills or maybe a cave or two. But what makes these dwarves different is that they're willing to share their wealth, for a price of course, and a few are pretty morbid. A few of these ways that you can actually get their treasure is that if a Dwende fancies a person, they either have a beautiful name or love to cook or sing if they want to court somebody. Another one is that they deem as a friend and gift them with their treasure. The last one I'll talk about is that they'll give you their gems and gold in exchange for a child's blood. And out of those few choices, I'm gonna pick the other two. Or just being their friend. I don't think I have a beautiful name. For abilities, they have a pretty awesome ability. They're able to affect someone's luck. With that, they could affect your health by inflicting you with diseases that modern medicine can't fix. But there's a way to avoid that. So to avoid it, there's a phrase you must tell them in order to prevent their wrath upon you. And you must say it in Tagalog, which is "Dabi dabi po," which means "Pardon me, little person." And if that's all you have to say, I have to remember it lickety split. I guess it's true what they say. Good things do come in small packages. But is it worth the price? For how they affected our modern world, they haven't really made much of an impact outside from the Philippines. But I cannot deny their impact towards the Filipino community. The sheer popularity and folklore that surrounds it affected the people of the Philippines, that provided into their rich culture. The Dwende provided fun stories of mischief and fun, but also some cautionary tales, just to make sure that there are consequences to actions. The legacy of the Dwende has sparked many to spin stories or sing songs about them. I've searched and there's tons of stories of the Dwende that really are quite fascinating. One of these such stories and videos that I found was by the YouTuber of Mikey Bustos. And I found it very fun, very energized, and pretty much enriched in culture. But besides that, the more I delve into this monster, the more I find it very whimsical, but very terrifying indeed. For how media affected the Dwende, it has been mostly positive or neutral, with the stories of being fun tales or cautionary tales. Media has made a big impact in a way, and what I mean is that stories that were passed on, either orally or by the written letter, are now transformed into a new form. For the stories and legends to survive for this long into the modern age is now being solidified and even immortalized through the internet. Media, either through stories, songs, videos, etc., has affected a lot of monsters. And I have to say that the culture, stories, and legends of the Dwende are nothing to sell short. Well, that's all the time I had for you ghouls and gholettes. And remember, be nice to your fellow dwarf, or they might demand something that might be your shortcoming.